Linda Barcz from the Barcz Company is here, taking your calls at 270-9933. But that's a, what, Thanksgiving cactus or Christmas? Or what do you call it?
That is a Thanksgiving cactus, yes, and it's in full bloom, so it's looking wonderful for Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Oh. And you got what else? What's down here?
Well, guess what we started with? For those of you that love Duck Dynasty.
And who doesn't?
Yes, we have a Christmas tree with all the decorations and the chia pet. Now, that is an item that we, years and years ago, they had little animals that they had. Now it's Uncle Si and Willie that you can grow as chia pets.
Well, my shopping's now done.
There you go. Excellent. I also brought a gorgeous hydrangea.
Yeah,
for
it's
those
beautiful.
of you. And a beautiful house plant. There's another plant over Persian Schilder. This one is Poly Alocasia. That is just a lovely house plant.
I love the leaves.
I do too. They're beautiful, aren't they?
All right, let's go to Audrey in DeForest. Hi, Audrey.
Hi.
Hi, which question?
I have a couple of hydrangeas that have been in one particular spot for about 4 or 5 years now. And especially this last year, they got big and bushy, but I never get any blossoms. Oh. And it's like they get eaten off or something every year. And I'm just thinking, okay, if I wrap them, maybe that will help so that they won't lose any of the canes and maybe they'll blossom.
Well, Audrey, do you know what kind of hydrangea this is?
Oh, one's an eco blue and the other's an oak leaf.
Okay, the Nico Blue, I think that is one of the problems that frequently happens is if you have to plant them in more sun. When Nico Blues first came out, Annabelle was the hydrangea that people were familiar with, and that doesn't need any sun to flower. So try moving it to some sun, but it's just not as good of a bloomer. You can't prune it back in the fall. Annabelle's you can cut down to the ground, you still get flowers. Now the oak leaf, that should be a little bit better in terms of flowering. I don't think you typically need to wrap them. I'm thinking of the ones at the Arboretum. They're actually out in more sun, so maybe that oak leaf is one that performs better where it does get more sun. So if you're planning on moving them, I don't think that wrapping is necessary. Just be careful with your pruning, and I'll be doing something on my blog about hydrangeas.
You have a blog?
Oops.
Look at you.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But I'm writing something on hydrangeas right now just because it's a confusing subject, because it used to be easy, and now there's so many of them that it's a little bit more complex.
All right. 270-9933 is the number to call. Betty was on the line from Edgerton. She's no longer there, but she wanted to know how does she get her orchids to bloom again? I guess it depends what kind of orchid. It
does depend upon what kind of orchid. And the one that is so common right now, Mark, is one called Phalaenopsis. They have flowers that are sort of round. They come in white and purple and different combinations like that. And the trick with that is to make sure that you're fertilizing it. And after the flower stalk after those flowers drop off, don't prune that back, because what you'll find is that many times it comes with another set of flowers on that same flower stalk. But otherwise you have to keep it, make sure that you repot it. Probably in February, March is a good time to repot that. And then also make sure that you're fertilizing it on a regular basis and bright indirect light. Otherwise, that's the one that's the easiest to get to bloom, because they like our temperatures. Some orchids you have to have cooler temperatures in order to introduce additional flower
and the other orchids, like the corsage ones, they're not going to really bloom again.
They will, but you have to have special conditions. Those have to have a cool period during a part of the year in order to induce those flowers. If you just keep them growing in the temperature that you and I like to live at, you know, that 70 degree, 60, 70 degree range, they will not flower again.
All right, let's go to Roseanne in Stoughton. Hi, Roseanne.
Hi.
Hi, what's your question?
I would like to know if you have to have 2 Christmas cactuses in order to get them to bloom.
No, you do not need anything like that. There again, it's a condition when the fall temperature gets cooler. I like to leave my cactus outside as long as I possibly can, because those cooler temperatures and shorter day length is what induces the flower buds. But you have to bring them in, obviously, before now. Anytime it's going to start to get really cold, you have to bring them in. But typically, that's the combination that induces the flowers.
All right, we have a bunch of calls coming in here, but we don't have a lot of time left. So the snow's on the ground now, the ground's frozen. Anything we need to be doing?
Well, if you haven't done certain things, somebody asked me about raking up leaves. If you didn't do that, we're going to have to hope for some warmer weather. But otherwise, I would say that your roses, definitely you should have any kind of hybrid teas protected with soil and like a rose collar. But your shrub roses, you don't have to worry about.
All right. Well, maybe the snow will melt.
It could happen.
It could happen. All right. If you're on the line, stay there. Linda will take your calls off the air. We will see you next week. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Yes, you too, Mark.
All right, we'll be right back with a final check of your forecast.